Moving fuel around, it's a really high-stakes game. We're not just talking about moving a simple commodity. We're moving a critical, incredibly high-value asset, and we're doing it across huge, often totally unsecured territories. And believe me, securing these moving targets is one of the single biggest challenges in modern logistics.
So just how much are we talking about here? Well, to put it into perspective, a single fuel tanker can easily be carrying over $100,000 worth of cargo. This isn't just fuel, it's literally liquid gold on wheels. And that makes it a very tempting prize for some very sophisticated criminals.
Right, so this gets to the heart of the matter we're tackling in this explainer. We're in an age of GPS jammers, coordinated attacks, and high-tech thieves. So the question is, how do you possibly build a system that's tough enough to stop a modern, high-tech hijacking dead in its tracks?
So how do we build this fortress? Well, the answer isn't some single magic bullet. It's not one piece of tech. Instead, it's a complete framework. The best way to think about it is like a digital fortress that we build around the asset, with multiple, different layers of defense that are all controlled from far, far away. All right, let's start peeling back the layers. First up, we've got Layer 1, the most tangible part of our fortress, the physical shield. This is all about the actual hardware that's bolted onto the truck, the stuff that directly protects the vehicle. And the absolute heart of this physical shield is the remote immobilizer. To put it simply, it's a kill switch for the engine. But it's a kill switch that can be flipped from a control center hundreds of miles away, giving operators the power to shut down a stolen vehicle almost instantly. Now, what's really clever here is the safety logic that's built in. So a secure command comes in from the control center. The system then electronically cuts power to the ignition circuit. But, and this is the crucial part, it only does this once the vehicle has already stopped. It's not going to shut down a truck doing 60 miles an hour on the highway. No way. It just makes sure that once it stops, it can't be restarted until a secure code is sent to unblock it. But hey, stopping the engine is just one piece of the puzzle, right? A complete physical shield also needs smart electronic locks on every single access point. We're talking the tanker hatches where the fuel goes in and the discharge valves where it comes out. And all of these are wired to a single centralized hub right inside the cab, basically turning the entire tanker into a sealed mobile vault. Okay, so a tough physical shield is great, but it's pretty useless if you can't talk to it reliably. And that brings us to Layer 2, the armored nerve center. This is the brains of the entire operation. And this is so important. You can't just toss a regular old commercial router from your house into a tanker truck and call it a day. It just won't work. As you can see here, industrial routers are a different breed entirely. We're talking a solid metal casing, the ability to work in temperatures from a freezing -35 all the way up to a blistering 75 degrees Celsius, and it has both hardware and software watchdogs to make sure it absolutely never crashes. This is the resilient communication backbone that guarantees those critical commands always get through. So we've got the muscle and we've got the nerves. But now we get to what might be the most critical layer of them all, the cybersecurity. This is Layer 3, what we're calling the unbreakable digital key. To really get why this is such a game changer, you have to understand the huge problem with traditional digital keys. They're often what we call bearer tokens, and this quote from the source material just nails it. They work just like cash. If a hacker manages to steal that token, it's gone. They own it, and they can spend it, which means they can start sending commands to your vehicle. And this slide just lays out the solution perfectly. We're moving away from that cash model of a bearer token and moving to something that works more like a biometric key, a certificate-bound token. This new kind of key is digitally, physically tied to the original sender. So if a thief steals it, well, it's completely useless to them. It just won't work. It makes the whole act of stealing it totally pointless. So what's the magic behind this? Well, the technology that makes it possible is called mutual TLS, or MTLS for short. Now, on a normal secure website, only the website server has to prove its identity to you. But with MTLS, it's a two-way street. The command setter has to prove it's legit, and the tanker system has to prove it's the right tanker. They both verify each other before a single command is ever exchanged. So how do you actually forge this unstealable key? It's actually a pretty elegant three-step dance. The system takes the command center's unique digital ID card, its certificate. It calculates a unique digital fingerprint of that card, and then it permanently melts that fingerprint into the command, the access token itself. From that point on, they are cryptographically locked together forever. And if you're wondering why this is so much better, this table tells the whole story. With the old bearer token method, the secret key has to exist in two places, which doubles the risk. But with MTLS, it's an asymmetric model. The private key, the real key to the kingdom, exists in only one place, on the client side at the command center. This means that even if a hacker compromises the server on the truck, the key itself is still perfectly safe.
So, we've seen the three key layers: the physical shield, the armored nerve center, and the unbreakable digital key. Now, let's put it all together. Let's walk through a real-world hijacking scenario and see this complete digital fortress in action.
Okay, it all starts here. A threat is detected. This could be anything. Maybe an automatic alert because the truck just went outside of its approved route. Maybe the driver hits a hidden panic button. Or maybe the system just flags that the truck is moving when it's not supposed to be.
Instantly, the control center decides to act. They issue the shutdown command. But here's the key. Before that command even leaves the building, it has to be authenticated. The system forges that unbreakable key we talked about, binding the command to the control center's unique digital identity using MTLS.
All right, the command is authenticated and cryptographically secure. Now it gets transmitted. It travels through our armored nerve center, that super rugged industrial-grade router, which makes absolutely sure the signal punches through even in the worst conditions. The command hits the vehicle. The onboard system immediately verifies the certificate's fingerprint, confirms the command is legitimate, and then, and only then, does it engage the physical shield. The engine is immobilized. The hatches and valves are locked down tight.
And the result? It's simple, and it's decisive. The hijacking is foiled, the vehicle is neutralized, the cargo is protected, and the entire asset is completely secured, just waiting for recovery. The digital fortress has done its job.
And this really brings us to a final, much bigger question, doesn't it? We've just walked through how this works for one fuel tanker. But think bigger. Think about power grids, water supplies, fleets of autonomous vehicles. As more and more of our critical physical world comes online, is it possible that these unstealable certificate-bound digital keys will become the single most important form of security we have? It's definitely something to think about.